Hey everybody, hey traders, Chris Pulver here. Welcome back to a video on my Trading 101 video series. It's the how to use a broker platform, but this one, let's talk about an application called MT4 or Metatrader 4. I have used this application for a long time. It's a desktop version, but most Forex brokers offer it. They either use some form of MT4 or MT5. MT4 has been around since the middle to late 90s. It's been a great application to trade. It's easy to throw on robots and trade expert advisors with MT4. Same thing with MT5. There's a slightly different coding language, but I want to do two things in this video. I want to walk you through the ins and outs of MetaTrader 4. I want to walk you through the ins and outs of a broker web-based platform because that's really what you have the option to do as a Forex trader. I have been around the block when it comes to trading Forex. I started out with FXCM back in early 2007, 2008. I went to Forex.com. I went to Alpari. I went to Pepperstone a little bit. I worked with Devisa. I've worked with Global Prime. I've worked with IGUS, and I've worked with Oanda. So around the block with these different Forex brokers, and they're pretty much all the same. When it comes to trading MetaTrader 4, like I said, it's an application, and it's really straightforward. So let's dive into the application, show you the ins and outs, and let's go into a web platform to show you that if you can take this information, take this video, hopefully it translates into all these brokers that people are using out there for Forex. There's tons of them to choose from, but my recommendation would be contact my friends at Forest Park FX because that is an introducing broker that is actually an ally in this market. They work with some of the biggest and most well-regulated brokers in the world, and that is who I do business with as well. I want to make sure that my money is safe, my money is secure, and I can just do what I do best, which is focus on trading. All right, so let's dive into the MT4 application, and here we go. So here's the MT4 application, and at a glance, it might seem a little old, it might seem a little dusty, but it's really a great application and it's pretty simple to use. So that's what I wanted today's focus to be on, at least the first half talking about MT4. So first things first, it might not look like this by default. It might look like it has 6 or 8 charts by default. I'm going to show you how to get your charts organized. So let's first go to this section here in the Market Watch window. Let's box this in. So in the Market Watch window right here, we can go right click and go to show all, okay? That will allow you to open up every symbol that this MT4 application will offer through your broker. So if you're using Oanda or you're using 8cap or you're using IG or whatever broker it is, any symbol that is available, you will be able to see right here. Okay, if you hover over it, you can see you have your primary and your secondary pair. You know, some of these I will not trade. Obviously, I'm not trading the pound versus the PLN. I don't even know what that is, right? I primarily focus on 28 currency pairs that include the baskets around the Aussie, the CAD, the Swiss, the Euro, the pound, the yen, the New Zealand dollar, and the US dollar. So that's 8 currency pairs that makes up 8 baskets and roughly 28 currency pairs that I focus on. All right, so first thing is I'm going to go to Market Watch, right click, and go to show all. That allows me to see all the symbols available for this MT4 application through my broker. And from there, I'm going to open up charts. So if I want to open up a new chart in MT4, I click File, go to New Chart. And as I hover over, you can see that there's a large group of currencies. Now, again, not all of these currencies will be traded, at least by me. I'm going to focus on the ones that I stick with, like my primary 28. This Forex list here, this group 17, whatever that means, all of these symbols. If there's one that I want to trade, I will trade. One pair that I traded in 2023 is the dollar Sing. I used to live in Singapore, so I got to know the exchange rate pretty well. Typically doesn't go too much lower than 1.30, doesn't go too much higher than 1.40. And anyway, I've traded that one. That's considered an exotic. There's other ones that are some exotics as well. But anyway, I stick to the ones like I said earlier. So I'll pick a currency. Let's trade like the pound yen. So let's find the pound yen if it's in this list here. It is. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a chart on the pound yen. And there's a new chart. So it will default. Here's the pound yen on a 1 hour time frame. If you want to change the time frame, up here, this little horizontal toolbar, change it to a 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily chart, weekly chart, monthly chart. Also, it's listed right now as bar charts. If you want to switch it to candlesticks, this middle button here is candlesticks. Here is a line chart, which will show the closes. I personally like to trade candlesticks. So I click on the candlestick button. Now if I zoom in with this magnifier, you'll see here that my chart is showing Japanese candlesticks as opposed to a bar chart or opposed to a line graph. So here are the candlesticks. Again, plus sign or minus sign to see more data. If you want to zoom all the way out here, this data goes back to really 2018 to present. If I want to zoom back in, it's going to take away some of the data, but I can see, the open, high, low, close on these candlesticks. One thing I also like to do is this little button here. There is a scroll to the end of the chart. I like to shift it from the right-hand side so I can get a little bit more real estate on the right. So this is just one of my personal preferences. This little button that says shift end of the chart from right border. I press that button, and it gives me a little bit more real estate right here. Okay, so if I wanted to compress the chart, I can scroll and drag this vertical axis. Okay, and I can do the same thing down here for time. So if I want to see more data, I can compress the time here. If I want to see, more highs and lows in price, I can compress the vertical axis here. All right, so let's zoom back in. And here is a monthly time frame. Here is a weekly time frame. Here is a daily time frame. Now, I'll just talk analysis for a second. If I was looking at finding a trade on this pound yen, what would I do? I'd probably go to a weekly time frame. I would compress my chart to get some more structure. And looking at this chart, I would say, let's talk about some analysis and maybe plot some support resistance and some trends in here. So looking back at this high, I'm going to take this crosshair tool and hover over. This goes back to 2015 where we had this massive high. And you can see here that once we had this run from 2012 to 2015, we started to see a really nice head and shoulders pattern on the pound yen. And what's interesting is you have this massive high, massive low from the financial crisis in 2008. This is late 2007 all the way into the bottom here in 2009. And then we had a double bottom in late 2011, early 2012, which technically speaking was one of the best trades of my career ever. I was just long against the yen for an entire basket. I was long euro yen, pound yen, dollar yen. This was pretty early in my career, but I was fortunate to work with a professional trader at the time, and the carry trade was a thing that I learned about, and also just being long against the yen because the Bank of Japan was doing some pretty aggressive monetary policy, and it was an awesome trade. And you can see from this area, going from 117 all the way up to the top around 186, that is almost 8,000 pips of movement on the pound yen. And if you did that with positive swap, even better. But what's interesting is as this big decline happened from 2008 to 2009, you start to see that this past support became resistance right around that same level in 2015 and 16. What tends to form is we have tops and bottoming patterns. So you have a double bottom down here, you have a head and shoulders pattern right here, and there ensues a nice little sell-off and another trend. Then we have a bunch of support over here with some consolidation. And lately, we have been in an uptrend with yet again another extreme policy measure by the Bank of Japan. Now, this video is not about talking about monetary policy and central bank stuff. You can join me in my trading rooms, my live session. You want to talk about all that. But I will say if I'm trying to find a trade, I would go ahead and use some of these tools on my horizontal toolbar. So I have a vertical line, which not really using that a lot, but I do have horizontal levels and trend lines, which I use a ton of. So let's click on this horizontal line and let's plot this level here. Okay, now if I need to drag that anywhere, I can just double click on it, drag it. Now I'm going with past support touches in here. There was a topping pattern. I would say that within this area here, okay, where my two red lines are at, this incorporates a lot of support back to 2003, 2004, as well as the past support becoming resistance in 2015 and 16. So in the event that current price, and I'll just draw on this, in the event that current price on the pound yen continues to oscillate higher, I would say that this area makes sense that if we don't stop here, then sure, we could go higher. But if we do stop here, we're talking about, almost 15, 16 years of we have lows here, high here, lows here. I mean, if we form resistance around this 190 to 195 area, what great spot to look for a sell opportunity to sell this back down. Now, will it become something like this again? Maybe, right? Maybe we have another 6,000 or 7,000 pip move after a 7,000 to 8,000 pip move up. I don't know. But that's what I'm looking at for a trade. So if we come up into this area, I would take some opportunities to sell it because I think that the reward to risk is certainly favorable. So that's just doing some basic analysis, trying to find a trade. If I want to place a trade, let's talk about that now. So if I wanted to right click and do trading, I just do this manually, or there's a way to get this one-click trading. So I'll show you that too. So let's go one-click trading. It brings up a buy and sell window. So inside of a broker platform, when you're trading Forex, just like other things too, there's a bid and there's an ask. So if I am a buyer of this instrument, if I want to buy the pound yen, I'm going to have to pay the spread, because right now the bid price is 186.96 and the ask is 186.99. So that's roughly a 3 pip spread on the pound yen. If I wanted to buy this instrument right now, I would get filled at 186.99.4. Okay? If I wanted to take a buy trade. If I want to take a sell trade, I would get filled at 186.97 as I'm doing this live, 186.97, but then the spread of around 2.5 to 3 pips would have to be covered by price moving lower. Okay, so here's one-click trading. What's kind of nice about this is at a quick execution, I mean, I can change my trade size. So this is a micro lot. If I go to 0.10, okay, that's a mini lot. If I want to change this, let's say I'm trading standard lots. I just changed it to 1.00. So this is in lots. And, a lot of traders, if you're starting out, I recommend this. For most beginners or anybody starting out, I would just say, look, start with micro lots. Trade super small, learn the process, make your trading wins and losses, make it almost inconsequential, learn how to survive, learn how to generate some pips, and then we start trading for the money, that we're willing to make and trying to grow in our accounts. But start with micro lots as a 0.01 lot trade, okay? So there's my one-click trading if I want to do that route. If I wanted to just trade it old school, I can right-click, go to trading. And depending on where I clicked on the screen, it's going to give me some orders at those prices, but I'm just doing the trading so I can do new order. Okay? And this is my order window. So I'm trading the pound yen. My lot size would be right here. So if I want to start with a micro lot, I type in 0.01. My stop loss, my take profit, let's say that I'm going to put in a sell limit, right? I like this level here. Let's delete this. So let's find that exact price again. I'm going to try to sell it at the exact same high as what we saw back here in 2015. All right, that price is around 195.19. So I'm going to say I'm going to take a sell trade at 195.15. Okay, 195.15. So I'm going to right click and go to my trading tab, go to a new order window, put in my micro lot. Let's do a pending order. And because I'm selling it up here at the resistance point, this is going to be a sell limit order. And 195.15 is what I said. Okay. And then expiration, I try to go out as far as I possibly can. So let's say I'm going to go out like 5 or 6 months to take the expiration, and this should not be a problem. Now, if I sell it at 195, I'm going to go ahead and give myself a stop loss of 195. Let's go 197.15. I'll give myself like a 200 pip stop loss. And profit-wise, if we go after 1,000 pips, that would be 185. 1.5. Now, what you're going to see here is what if I take this trade, and I should be able to place this with a pending sell. Okay. So now you can see that my sell order is right here. My stop loss is right here, and my take profit is right here. So I'm going after this in reward, and this is my risk. Now, that might not look like a big area, but we're looking at 200 pips in risk for 1,000 pips of return. And what we saw over here was a giant, topping pattern and a 6 to 7,000 move to the downside. If we capture a fraction of that, or if we want to wait for a topping pattern and then trade that topping pattern, we can do that versus getting in the way. So I am going to delete this horizontal line, and I'm going to delete that order because I don't want that lingering in my live account. So I clicked on the order, so there's my pending sell. I'll go ahead and delete that, and that deletes the line. So I still have my resistance. I'm going to put that others line right here, and this area, this window is roughly where I'm looking to sell. Okay, now here's something kind of nice as well, just analysis stuff. If I go insert, I like to use a lot of boxes and shapes when I'm drawing on my chart. So this area to me is a really strong support resistance area. So I'm going to take this right here and just use a box and shade this in. And in the event that I'm on, let's say, a daily time frame or a 4-hour time frame, if price enters into that box, that's my sign to remember I put that there as resistance. Let me start looking for some structure. Okay, and this is a good example if I wanted to start looking at, how can I get sell confirmation on that trade? If I took a trend line and I plot a trend line from right here, Okay, so I'm going to click on my horizontal tool. Here's my trend line. I'll hold it at the low. I'll connect the dots right here, and there's a trend line. Now that didn't connect the way I wanted, so I'll drag this over, something like that. Okay, so connect the low, it looks pretty good. If I think that's a little bit too aggressive, then I can go down to this wick low right here, drag it to that wick low, and change it to this previous low, and that should be a little bit better there. That's a little bit more passive, and again, here's my resistance area, here's my trend line. An easy sell trade for me would be to start looking for price to start breaking the trend line, and then see how price behaves on the right-hand side of the trend line, see if that's a valid sell trade. So I can take the higher time frame analysis, work it down to a smaller time frame, looking for some precise entries, looking for price patterns, things like that. Okay, so a little bit of a basic overview of, take your new chart. You want to open up your charts. I'll start talking about how I organize this on the bottom. Your market watch window to open up all your symbols, your time frames right here. If you're trading any robots, you want to make sure that your auto trading is enabled. I am logged in here to a VPS. I'm going into candlesticks. I've shifted this over from the right-hand side. I can go any time frame that I want to help me with analysis, place my trades. You can do the one-click trading right here. If you don't want the one-click trading, just remove it, or you can add it and then change your trade size and execute very quickly. If you wanted to do trading to new order, this brings up your order window. Pretty straightforward. You have your bid, you have your ask, and you can plot your trades from a market execution to a pending order and set up your buy limits or your sell limits or your buy stops, your sell stops. Really quickly on those trade types, you should know this. This should be a review for a lot of people. If price is right here at 186.98, if I did a buy limit means that I want price to pull back to fill me on a buy trade. If I do a sell limit, I want price to rally higher to fill me on a sell limit. If I do a buy stop, I want to set the buy stop level higher than current price, and we just kind of serves as a breakout where price is going to go through my buy stop level. And then a sell stop would be I set that below current price because price is going to fall through that sell stop level. So that's a quick and dirty way to review some of these pending orders. Hopefully that helps. All right. What else do we have to navigate here? Well, speaking of that, this item's called the navigator. This is in your, if you go to view, this will show you the windows you have open. So we have the market watch window open. We have the navigator open. We have the trading terminal open. Which is important because this will help me organize all of my indicators. One thing when you're in Metatrader 4, again, it's kind of like using just a computer program. If you have your data folder, so file, data folder, everything in Metatrader 4 is organized through this MQL4. Now, your profile that you open up all these charts, save all your charts, save any chart templates, this is where it's all organized inside this data folder. So if you have indicators in Metatrader 4, they're going to be organized in the data folder, MQL4, indicators. If you have any expert advisors, they're going to be in your data folder, MQL4, and experts. So if I go to indicators, I have a lot of indicators. If I go to experts, I have some expert advisors. If I go back to MQL4, presets. If I wanted to save any presets for my automation, they'll be here under presets. Okay, any scripts, I have a close all script on a chart. I have a close all script for all my trades. Some of those things help me just, open and manage my positions. So it's all here under the data folder, file, data folder, and MQL4. All right. So in the navigator window, I can find out, do I have indicators based on alphabetical order? I can find them all here. I also have a bunch of expert advisors. These are all my EAs that I might run. Some of them are running full auto on other VPSs. Some of them are discretionary where I decide if I like a buy zone, I'll turn on a robot to buy only. If I like a sell zone, I'll turn them on to sell only. And then I manage those robots, through the trade. So pretty nice stuff there on the navigator. Your trade terminals down here below. I've got my, P&L running for some of my trades and all my positions. Now let's talk about organizing charts. So it's again, it's not the easiest way to do it, but basically what I do is I just open up all my charts in alphabetical order. So I know that I've done this many, many times. I've set up MT4 workspaces for literally 15 years. And I've also had my profile deleted and I've had to go from broker to broker and it doesn't translate. So I've done this many, many times. And sometimes my charts just get overwhelmed with indicators and overwhelmed with templates and it just gets noisy. So sometimes I just cleanse it, start from scratch, and I just open up a chart. So file, new chart. My first currency pair is going to be Aussie CAD. So I'm looking for it. And you can do this too. You can just open up any chart you want to, and then just simply grab. So here's Aussie CAD, okay? If I grab Aussie CAD and drag it all the way over here, okay, there's my Aussie CAD. Now I can go back, keep going back, keep going back. If I want to go alphabetical, there's my Aussie CAD. The next pair I would open up would be the Aussie Swiss. Then I'd have the Aussie Yen, then the Aussie New Zealand, and the Aussie Dollar. And so I like to do that where on the bottom here, I just have all my charts in alphabetical order. Some traders are different. Some traders like to have, okay, I want to have an Aussie CAD daily and an Aussie CAD 4 hour, an Aussie CAD 1 hour. That's fine too. So make it your own when it comes to organizing your charts. For me, it's pretty simple. I like alphabetical order on the bottom, open up my charts. But for the example purposes, here's a trade we were on with the pound yen, doing some basic analysis, using horizontal levels for support resistance, drawing trend lines where it's more relevant to current price, and that's it. Use some analysis, find a trade, organize your MT4. You've got your one-click trading. You've got your trading window here. If you just go to the new orders, there's your order window. You have your time frames up here. You have your, zoom in, zoom out, shifting over to the right-hand side, some tools on the horizontal line. If you're a Fibonacci trader, here's one way to look at it as well. This would be an example. You can start from this low and plot a Fibonacci right here, right? There's a fib. If that's not enough information, this is just simply a low to high, which gives me my retracement levels. If you wanted to go in and edit that Fibonacci, you can put in the extension levels as well. If it goes up to a 18127, a 1618, a 2618, you can edit this. So double click, go to Fibo properties, and then fib levels. So I can add those additional levels. Okay. So if I go into here, I'll add yellow levels. So we have add in, let me see if I can make this a little bit larger. Will this go larger? It doesn't look like it. Description, parameters, visualization, show all time frames. Okay. So I guess I just do this. If I did a negative 0.27, that should be fine. So I'm going to add in a 0.27, and it should be a negative 0.27. And then the description is going to be what's displayed on here. I'll do a 1.27. And I'll add another level. I'll do a negative 0.618. And this would be a 1.618. Let's see what that looks like. There. So now I have a 127 and a 1618 extension. And that way, if I drag my fib, there's a low, there's a high, there's a pullback, and then I can push up to that target. You can see how price behaves. There's an A, B, C, D, or a low to high, higher low to higher high. We have some consolidation, and then the market continues higher. You draw new Fibonacci's, get a pullback. So anyway, that's just for Fibonacci traders, ways to customize that fib tool, right? There's equidistant channels. There's text boxes in here. I primarily use horizontal lines, trend lines, and I do use the shapes quite a bit. I use the rectangles all the time because I'm looking at supply and demand levels. I use pockets and inefficiencies in the Forex market and the stock market. So I draw a lot of boxes on here's where I want to get into a support, here's where I want to exit for resistance levels, or here's some pockets I'm looking to trade back to, expecting price to gravitate towards. So as far as my drawings on my charts and stuff like that I use. Okay, so I will quickly switch gears into the web-based platform. I wanted to primarily focus on MT4 because a lot of traders still use MT4 and MT5. It's a simple application, and what I also like is for many, many years, I've been able to trade through a VPS with any computer anywhere in the world and log into my MT4 platform. Also on your smartphones, MT4 is an application that you can connect from your broker, and it's an MT4 app. So I can always see my open positions. I can open and close trades. So that at least keeps me connected, and it's a little bit more straightforward than using a broker app. But one last thing I wanted to do is let's spend a couple minutes here for this video, and let's talk about a web-based platform. So this is Oanda's web platform. It's just oanda.com. I have an account with them, and this is one account that I'm trading that I'm looking at. This particular one is called Portfolio Builder. It's my investor account. What I'm doing is I'm primarily focused on currencies that I can get a positive swap on or a positive rollover. That doesn't really matter. It's just I'm playing the central bank rate decisions. But here's my open positions, and here is my alphabetical order. So Aussie Swiss, CAD Swiss, Euro Swiss, Pound Swiss, New Zealand CAD, New Zealand Swiss, Dollar Swiss. Now, right now, collectively, I started this account with a $10,000 balance. It's currently down about $260. My unrealized profit and loss. So I'm up about $83 and change based on my positive rollover that I'm collecting almost on it is a daily basis. But I have a drawdown that's working right now. So that's okay because all these positions I'm trading, I'm looking at 500 to 1,000 plus pips of upside direction. And so I'm just looking to basically build and invest. But what I want to show you with this web platform is it obviously looks a little bit more new. You have a different charting platform. This is really inserting TradingView, which is an easy charting platform to use. I can type in any symbol that I want. So Aussie CAD. I can type in, euro dollar. I can type in that dollar sing I mentioned earlier, right? And the charts pop up. I can go quickly between time frames, the daily, the weekly, the monthly. If I wanted to trade on here, it's really easy. I right click, I go to trading, and I go to new order. And this is important. Again, I've done this in my Trading 101 video series when I talk about trade size, leverage, and margin. This is extremely important for this web-based platform because this allows me to trade different trade sizes than just lots. Okay, you've got the micro lot at 0.01, you've got the mini lot at 0.10, and you have the standard lot at 1.00. In between there, you have all of these other units, right? So if I want to trade a micro lot is 1,000 units in this platform. So let me go ahead and take some notes here. So I'll put this a little bit bigger. So one micro lot is 0.01 lots or 1,000 units. Okay. One mini lot is 0.10 lots or 10,000 units. And one standard lot is 1.0 lots or 100,000 units. All right, that's really important because I'll show you why. What I pay attention to here when I'm trading units in this broker platform, this web-based platform, is I want you to see this number right here. Can everybody see that it says if I'm trading 1,000 units on the pound or the dollar sing, 1,000 units on the dollar sing requires $50 in margin. Okay, that 1,000 unit trade, which is roughly a micro lot, is going to pay me or cost me. If I'm positive, I'm going to get 7 cents per pip. If I'm upside down, I'll be in a 7 cents per pip drawdown. Right? Now, what's important about this? We should know that not every currency pair, based on exchange rates and based on margin, based on volatility, based on a lot of factors, not every currency pair is going to be exactly the same margin. So dollar sing, think about this. 1,000 units on the dollar sing is going to require $50 in margin. If I change this to the pound yen, okay, let's do a pound yen for 1,000 units. 1,000 units. It requires $63.47. Still pays or costs me 7 cents a pip, but it's higher margin. If I want to go to the pound Swiss, take a look at this one. Pound Swiss, if I do a new order at 1,000 units, cost me $63.48. So the pound crosses are more expensive, right? If I want to do something crazy like the dollar Mexican peso and I trade 1,000 units, create new order, 1,000 units, $100 in margin. It's a pretty expensive pair to trade. Okay, now it doesn't pay me 7 cents a pip. It pays me 1 cent per pip, just based on the exchange rate. Okay, so all sorts of wild and crazy stuff happens with some of these currency pairs, but this is a way to know what is the margin required for the trade, right? How many pips? If I make 100 pips, what do I get paid? If I lose 100 pips, what does it cost me, right? And never, ever, ever over leverage. So the standard would be something like the most liquid pair in the world, which would be euro dollar. So if I look at this and I trade a micro lot, 1,000 units, it only requires $21.95 in margin. So you can see that it pays to pay attention. I mean, if I know that I can essentially take 3 micro lots for every 1 micro lot of the pound yen, I'm going to keep that in mind. And now, why is the pound yen more expensive? Because it's more volatile. Pound yen's going to move anywhere between 150 pips a day. The euro dollar might move 50 to 70 pips a day. So you essentially pay for the volatility with that higher margin. Make sense? Okay, so again, I digress, but really important stuff to know on this video and for the web platform is it's just a way to connect to your broker, all right? MT4 is a direct link to your broker. All these brokers offer MT4 platforms, applications. They offer MT5. They offer web-based platforms. They connect to your phone. So anytime that I hear a trader say, Chris, my charts are down. Well, is your broker down or are your charts down? Because if I'm looking at my MT4 application on my phone, or I'm looking at my MT4 application on my computer, or I'm looking at a web platform here, this is my direct link to my broker, right? So any answer that you need with what your trades are doing is all right here. One thing I like about this type of platform is I can trade unit sizes, which allows me to be very creative with how I trade instead of trading micro lots and mini lots and standard lots. But I can also check my break-even levels. Okay, when I take a bunch of trades, these are all the orders that I have running. Some of these are, pending. These are all the trades that I have active. I have a lot of active trades right now, right? If I looked at profit, I've got some trades that are up a ton of pips. I've got some profit trades as well. So I've got trades that are in profit. I've got trades that are in up then in drawdowns. But it would be more confusing to try to manage all these trades individually than it would be if I knew what my group position is. So this particular account I'm trading as a group. This particular account I'm using as an investment in some of these currency pairs. And so what's nice about this is really quickly, I just go to positions and it gives me all the symbols that I'm trading, and it gives me the total trade size that I have in units. It gives me my direction. It gives me the margin that's being tied up, which is also displayed over here. Okay, margin used is $1,800. It gives me my break-even price. Okay, so I know that my Aussie Swiss take profit is 6,500. I know my CAD Swiss take profit is 7,150. So if my break-even is 6,600 on the CAD Swiss, and I'm going after 7,150, that's a lot of pips, right? That's 500, 550 pips of net profit based on this position without adding anything else. And so that'll be a big swing in profit for dollars as well as pips, and I'm willing to wait. And that's what I'm building. So knowing your break even is really important in trading, especially if you're willing to take 1, 2, 3 positions. If you're group trading and buying low and selling high, which that's what I do. That's what I like to do. That's my favorite way trading is, building support levels, building resistance levels, and being willing to hold positions until, my profit levels are hit. All right. So for the sake of time, it's been about 30 minutes, but this is a good learning video, broker series, how to use a broker platform. I wanted to address this one for a while. This is using MT4 for a desktop application. There's also, like I said, you can go to your smartphone app store and there's an MT4 application that you can connect to your broker. Just make sure you have your account handy. And that information is provided from every broker. When you sign up, here's your account, here's your username and password, and you log in. Okay. Simple application to use, very powerful. MT4 has been around for over 20 years. I know that some brokers are talking about, they're going to migrate it to MT5 only. That's okay. If they did that, it would be pretty disruptive for me because I do trade a lot of robots and I run them on MT4. But I found that statistically, around 90% of Metatrader traders are still using MT4. So I do think that it would probably be in the broker's best interest to just let people trade what they trade, keep these legacy servers running. There might be some migration on some of the demo accounts, but if you're running a live account, most of the time, brokers just let you trade. There's not a lot of disruption there. But brokers are known for some shenanigans here and there. So that's why, again, I'll give a shout out to my friends at Forest Park FX. Work with the best brokers in the world that are deep pockets, well regulated, and there's just less disruption. I was tossed around and kicked around by a bunch of brokers early on as I was getting established in trading for other people and managing money and things like that. And that I've been with Oanda for the last 6-7 years. I've been happy, have a lot of continuity, no disruptions, and like I said, my job is I just want to trade. I just want to focus on trading. I don't need a broker doing some weird stuff in the background. So I hope this video helps. I would appreciate it if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, check out my video series, Trading 101. There's lots of information there. There's a ton of videos, trading support, trading resistance, drawing trend lines, using some basic technical skills in the markets, trading Forex, trading stocks, trading options, all sorts of stuff. So check that out. Also, be sure to check out my live sessions when I'm live on YouTube for market outlooks and market recaps. My job is to help traders. My job is to be consistently profitable. See it, protect it, collect it. All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.